Coffee's mixing with flair. Every sip's a moment. We're happy to share. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. The clock don't matter, we're lost in the vibe. Jazz in the air, feel the soul come alive. From martinis to bourbon, we're riding the wave. Stealing this hour, it's the freedom we crave. Sun's still shining, but we're in our zone. This bar's our shelter, our temporary home. One more round before the world calls us back. Savor the moment, keep the blues in the rack. We'll laugh and we'll toast till the afternoon fades. Memories made in these liquid escapades. Liquid lunch, pour it smooth, let it flow. Friends round the table where the good times grow. Raise a glass, let the worry slip away. Liquid lunch, we're living for today. So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun. Our liquid lunch, till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon. Chasing that jazz under the high noon.
Salut and welcome. Happy Wednesday. We are halfway through the week. From this point on, we are heading towards the weekend. It's a good feeling, isn't it? We've made it this far, and we made it together. You guys are wonderful. Want to start out by saying hi to the first person who hit the chat, but his comment fell off because he was so early. Big Al of Big Al Presents, thank you so much for being here. I don't remember exactly what you said, but you certainly wished us a good show and speculated on what we would be talking about. Very much like this next comment from Mark Melnikoff, who says, Mech Paul, it is lunchtime. WTF will Troy rant about with so many things to choose from. Like, share, subscribe, and become a member by order of the Klingon Empire. Da! Yes, exactly. Yes, but a lot of the things I would love to rant about are more of the political nature. I'm trying to keep that in its own lane as much as possible. Curtis Selby says, Chapla, glory to you and your house. Well, thank you very much. Chavan. Let's see. And Netter calls me the love of her life. I love you too, my dear. She says, like, share, subscribe, become a member, leave a comment, and if you are feeling generous, gift a membership to your fellow YouTube denizens. She's reminding that I am on a membership drive. I am trying to reach 100 members by the end of the year. And for as little as $2 a month, you can become a member and join us every Monday night for our members-only stream, where we stream a movie of your choice and just enjoy it together. Among many other benefits of membership. So please consider supporting in any way that you can. Again, trying to reach 100 members by the end of the year and 2,000 subscribers as well. 2,000 subscribers, 100 members by the end of the year. Help me do that. Only you can make this channel a success. Connie Cleary, the bird woman of YouTube, Fluff Chick Productions says, hail to the chat. Hail to you as well, Connie. Always good to see you here. Jonathan Conroy says, hail all, smash the like button, and enjoy the show. Please do that thing. Let's see. Sin's Corner, hello. Well, it was great to see you on reserved seats Sunday night going into Monday morning. And unless I'm mistaken, you will be hanging out with... Oh, no, that was last night. You hung out with Deleted talking about the new movie you saw. And, just get over to Sin's Corner. Subscribe to her. She's always reviewing movies and telling you what's good and what ain't. Definitely worth checking out her channel. Another channel that's really worth checking out is I always say it wrong. Dadman Walking 55. Hello, Troy. How are things? How are things with you, my friend? It's been a minute. Glad to see you back. Yes, Shelby Oaks, which it's kind of too bad that Deleted didn't get to see it, because wasn't he a supporter on that? So there was a disconnect there somewhere, I think. That's kind of a shame. I'll have to check out that review. And of course she posts at criticless.com, so make sure you check out Criticless. Forget all those other institutional review sites. The one about the tomatoes and the Mojos and the whatnots. Get to Criticless. That if you want honesty. Speaking of honesty, we live in an upside down world when the people that the governments that we generally consider to be the bad guys are the voices of reason. And I'm not even talking about the situation going on in Europe right now. No. I'm talking about an internet-related issue. Let's get to it. This comes to us from... I thought I had this shared. It should have been there. Of course it comes from that Park Place. They're doing the best work as far as pop culture journalism right now. This one comes from Forrest Manis, who shares that Iraq, the ones we were this close to going to war with a few months ago, bans Roblox after a storm of child safety concerns continues to plague the platform. WTF indeed. Let me back up for a second before we dive into this, because I wanted to see what. Yeah, but the movie hasn't been released to supporters. It was a mystery movie, and it wasn't in his area, unfortunately. Yeah, I know. I'm just saying, why hasn't it been released to supporters when it's available for review? I mean, I feel like that's a disconnect there, I should think, if anything, the supporters should get to see it before anybody, but whatever. That's Deleted's thing to deal with. Anyway, let's get into this, because this really bothers me. Over the weekend, the Ministry of Communications in Iraq announced a nationwide ban on a popular user-generated gaming platform, Roblox. The decision stems from a ruling by the Iraqi Supreme Court, which cited the comprehensive study and field monitoring that marked the platform as posing numerous dangers to society. It listed child safety, moral values, inappropriate content, blasphemy, and online blackmail as potential risks. Online blackmail. The blasphemy might be very specific to Iraq and their religion. I understand that. Inappropriate content, I'm sure you could, free speech, but those other things are pretty darn serious. This decision follows a recent move by the UAE to temporarily remove Roblox's in-game chat feature across several Arab countries due to similar concerns. Earlier bans had already been enacted against the site in countries like Turkey, Jordan, and Qatar. Roblox Corporation has not yet responded to the platform's ban in Iraq. That's not a surprise because the corporation has not responded to any of this. Ever. At all. Let me be very clear, Mark. I have to talk around things because there's certain things even when you're trying to help the situation, you're not allowed to talk about on YouTube. But child safety. Child safety. Don't focus on who the government is. Focus on what the problem is, Mark. This is a problem that needs to be addressed and is being ignored by the West. We have to go to Iraq to see somebody actually doing something about this. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. The company has faced numerous lawsuits in the U.S. in relation to these concerns, but has not experienced censorship like it has in the Middle East. Some have, and so apparently child safety concerns are also protected. Apparently. You're not allowed to speak out against the lack of bodily autonomy if the government has decided you needed a jab. You are not allowed to talk about the possibility that voting integrity might be an issue. You're not allowed to talk about that. Those things aren't covered under the First Amendment. But you bring up children being targeted in-game, and that's allowed? That's backwards. That's very, very backwards. And just to be clear, it 100% talking about election integrity is exactly what the First Amendment was intended for. Just saying. That's why the First Amendment exists. But covering up crime and doing bad things to children was never meant to be protected. Never, ever, ever. And again, if you have to go to a country like Iraq to see someone actually doing something about this, we are way behind the 8 ball on this one. Some have accused Visa and MasterCard of being complicit in allowing these problems to persist on Roblox, despite having demonstrated their ability to pressure platforms into submission. Now, I'm going to take a reverse tact on this one as well. The second part of that statement is true. Because they have, as a payment entity, waded into, debanking people because maybe they support truckers, in a neighboring North country, right? They've already decided that they can decide for you because they hold your money what you can and can't do, say, and talk about on the internet. So because they've already done that, it makes them look very bad for not addressing this. But I would argue it the other way around. They should be ignoring everything and just saying, hey, we're just facilitating the payment. Go after the person making the charge and doing the bad thing. We have nothing to do with that. But as soon as you start deciding, you become responsible. I'm also looking at you, platforms like this one. If you're going to decide, you should suffer the consequences as well. Roblox Corporation, in an apparent attempt to save their reputation, they've lost their reputation. It's too late for that. It's well beyond their ability to do anything about now. Acknowledged the public concern and stated that it also wanted to keep young users safe. Yeah, sure you did. Sure you did. Yes, I'm sorry. Your horse burnt to death. Let me get them out of that burning barn now. Right. We respect the law and regulation in countries where we operate and share local lawmakers' commitment to children, they said. No, you don't. Because we have laws against that stuff in the United States too, and you don't care about the United States because you know you can get away with it. Only when your platform has been completely shut down in a certain country and you're losing revenue do you suddenly start to care. They don't care about your children. They care about your money, is what they care about. In September, Revealing Reality led an investigation into Roblox as a follow-up to the rising tide of concern about the platform. The group found that the company had, in fact, implemented new safety features. Notable changes included age verification in order to play 17-plus restricted games, more stringent content filtering and moderation, as well as new parental controls, which allow parents to self-moderate their children's activities. Well, let's start here. Age verification in order to play 17-plus restricted games. Fair enough. But this isn't where they're being targeted. They're being targeted in the non-adult sections of the game, in the general population, in the chat. See, so that doesn't help anything, right? More stringent content filter and moderation. We know how to get around those. We don't use certain no-no words, but everyone knows what we mean. As well as parental controls. Now, this is another whole aspect to this. It is not up to Roblox to get parents to, oversee their children. Yes, it's good that they give them tools to do that, but parents need to be paying attention to their children and not expecting corporations and governments and anybody else. That's like that really literally is like hens allowing foxes to care for their eggs. It really is. These all sound like perfectly reasonable common sense changes. Well, I just pointed out the problems with them. So why does it constitute a total ban from the Iraqi government? Well, because they're looking at results, not promises. The timing of this ban suggests that it could have been motivated by additional factors beyond the platform's long-standing issues, especially in the context of these safety updates. Many have observed a lack of real change, I just mentioned, and have come to the conclusion that the company is unwilling to actually address the root problems. What I noticed was there was no talk about banning people that are clearly attempting to do bad things to children. No banning anybody. Nothing like that. No talk about turning those people over to the police. There's really nothing wrong with pointing out illegal activity and calling the police on them. You have a right and an obligation to do that. Critics have pointed out that the age verification on mature games has merely driven users to areas of the platform which sound slightly more innocuous. Games titled Mic Up and Therapy Sessions have drawn scrutiny from research groups for not being age restricted, meaning they still pose massive risks to unsupervised minors. Again, parents, why are your minors unsupervised? But that's beyond the scope of this. The epidemic of predatory adults disguising themselves as children is ever prevalent on Roblox. These individuals are constantly trying to circumvent filters on the platform. The situation mirrors broader online discussions regarding censorship, with many concluding that filters merely provide the appearance of safety rather than preventing harm. I just outlined all of that, right? It appears that so long as Roblox, a platform designed primarily for children, maintains its open chat features, it will inevitably continue to expose younger users to interactions with ill-intentioned strangers. Yeah, if you have a platform, you have an obligation. You do, especially when kids are involved. The idea of I mean, think about it. When you own a McDonald's, I'm kind of going back a ways. I don't even know if these things still exist anymore. But they used to have play places in McDonald's. Well, guess what? As soon as McDonald's put those in, they needed to have insurance, for in case someone got hurt. They had to comply with certain regulations regarding playgrounds for children. Anytime a safety concern came up, they had to address it. There was also sanitary problems that were notoriously a problem, but with great power comes great responsibility, right? And any time you have children involved, there is a responsibility. That is an expectation. You don't get to just say not my problem. I mean, it is fair to say that parents should be paying attention to their children, but you, as the platform, are the next line of defense. You worry about your line of defense. Let the parents worry about theirs. But again, the U.S. is way checked out on this. They're not even paying attention to this. And when it takes a country like Iraq to come in and do something about it, that's a problem. That's a problem. Well, I have updated those weekly promos that I shortened it yesterday because I hadn't gotten around to it, but I am caught up now. So let me show you what's coming up this week. I'll come back to your comments on the other side of it. Be right back, just under 3 minutes.
You are watching Liquid Lunch, streaming every weekday at noon Central, 1 p.m. Eastern. Let's sip together.
This week on Netters Network, we'll be talking with our average horror fan who wants to share his love of horror, movies, figures, posters, collectibles, and his cats. It's the Horror Cat Dad, this Thursday night at 9 Central, 10 Eastern on Netters Network.
This week on Saturday Night at the Movies, a small town is plagued by brutal killings spreading fear and suspicion through the close-knit community. Marty Koslaw, a paraplegic boy, is convinced the murders are the doings of a werewolf. Join us for Stephen King's Silver Bullet this week on Big Al Presents Films with Friends, Saturday night at 9 Central, 10 Eastern on Big Al Presents.
Every Sunday evening, Aged Boomer and Last Call with Troy Pacelli bring you the rundown of the week's geek news, or at least what they think is interesting. You may have heard about it elsewhere, but Boomer and Pacelli spin it like only two old geezers can. It's Geeky Geezers, every Sunday evening at 8 Central, 9 Eastern.
This week on Live from Sparkwood and 21, we are going down the rabbit hole. In a nameless city deluged by a continuous rain, 3 rabbits live with a fearful mystery. Rabbits is a web series of 8 horror episodes created by David Lynch, who referred to it as a sitcom. We'll judge for ourselves this Tuesday at 7:30 Central, 8:30 Eastern on Deleted Scenes and Associates.
With their Piling 50 pacification program going from strength to strength, the Federation's expansion continues relentlessly. In desperation, Avon calls a conference of all the non-allied planets. United, they could effectively manage all the necessary antitoxin, but their shaky alliance hinges on one person, Zukan, and it is uncertain where the true loyalties lie of this mighty warlord. This week on Last Call Presents Blake 7, Tuesday at 10 p.m. Central, 11 Eastern.
We now return to our liquid lunch.
And Mark makes a great point. Certain credit card companies are anti-2A, so they are using their monopoly on payment to wage war on companies that sell certain freedom tools. And look, if that's the game you're going to play, then you need to be held responsible for the things that you don't address. Right? Kids can figure out ways around parental controls these days, seeing it happen, but that is not what I'm talking about. Those parental controls that are built into the platforms is not what I'm talking about. I mean actual parental controls, parental relationship with their child, their direct observation. If parents are truly engaged, there is no workaround for the kids. Right? Geek Flag with Nate Knows says, like, share, subscribe, comment, and become a member. And if you're feeling like giving a $5 or $10 super chat, give a gift membership instead. Yes, that would be so nice. You bring someone else into the family. You grow our family that way. Sergeant Giratina says, hello, welcome. So good to see you here. I am glad you have joined us. Unfortunately, roadblocks have been painting the people who are exposing these short eye individuals. Yeah, that's exactly true. I didn't talk about it so much, but I know Culture brought it up and some of the other channels did, specifically that Roblox is actually working against protecting children. They're doing the opposite. They are fighting the people trying to protect children. So that's even worse. It's worse than doing nothing, you know? Yep, love Silver Bullet. It's on Sin's favorite horror film list. Yes, absolutely. Definitely going to be enjoying hanging out with Big Al Presents. It's become a Stephen King October unintentionally, because Big Al chose two Stephen King films, and just by chance, the one in between that was on a poll, everyone chose to watch The Mist, which is also a Stephen King film. That was kind of neat. Yes, Sin, hope to see you on Saturday. Drop in, watch along with us. That would be great. Would love to see you. Andy Masterson, the talented one, is having a coffee. That's perfectly acceptable for a liquid lunch. That actually kind of makes sense. Midday, if you need your caffeine, maybe not a bad idea. The talented one, Andy Masterson. Make sure you check out Andy Masterson tonight on Pop Culture Breakdown. At least I'm assuming you're going to be there tonight, Andy, when he joins the denizens of Xanadu at Castle Doomcock. And they're going to be talking about, trying to remember which movie they're talking about. Oh, yes, one of the the original Elvira film. That should be a great conversation. And good. I'm glad to see everybody joining each other's streams, saying hi to each other. That's what it takes. Hashtag together we grow and all of that kind of stuff, right? Community is so important. And I feel like the entertainment industry and most businesses have lost that. They have forgotten that. And it's funny because corporations, for as inhuman and dry and out of touch as they always have been, at least understood this on a marketing level. I was just talking to, I mentioned last week, I took my car in. I drive a Honda now, but I used to drive a Saturn. And Netter and I kind of bought into that whole Saturn community thing. It was almost a little cultish, right? And they'd have these cookouts, and whatnot. And if you'd ever bought a Saturn, you'd get an invitation, and all this kind of stuff. Kind of doesn't hold up if the customer service, when you take your car in, isn't there, and if your car is constantly breaking down, and if there's some design flaws, but let's face it, if it gets you to buy the car and keeps you wanting to have brand loyalty, that's a good thing. But that's how it's always been. You want there to be. I loved my early model Saturn. Had two. Yeah, the problem was that I got a later model Saturn hatchback. That's a story for another day. It's one that I think you guys would be very entertained by, but I don't want to get too far off the topic today. But yeah, the quality went off over time. No, and it's true. We never did actually get the invites, but like I said, we bought into the hype initially, kind of, and that's the other thing too, you got to be genuine about it. It's got to be less than a robotic marketing thing, and it's got to be like you actually care about your customers, which is, I always said, if I ever started a business, I wanted to be that kind of a genuine kind of guy that really showed, attention and compassion and care for my regulars that I know by name and so forth. And anyone that is new, be equally as welcoming. And without thinking about it consciously, that's kind of what I've done, I think. You guys can tell me. You guys would be better judge, and I'd be open to your judgment. But when I started this channel, I was kind of starting a business, right? Well, let's be honest. It is now my business. And you guys are all my regulars, right? And I hope you guys feel, included and warmly received and, part of the community. It's the only way it's going to work, right? But that is why my wife and I bought a Subaru. Yeah, well, there you go. I've been mostly happy with my Honda. In fact, I've been 100% happy until this last time. And that was not the Honda, design problem or anything like that. There was a problem in the service department, and I ripped them up and down about it. I ripped them up and down. Just paid for 4 brand new tires. Drove it off the lot, got 3 miles away, and I got the light that said tire pressure. So I literally had to turn around and go back and say, "You just put new tires in. What's the problem?" Guy checks them, goes, "Oh, they overfilled them. I fixed it." I'm like, "They overfilled them? That's a problem on new tires that I just paid over $1,000 for." Drove off the lot, got more than halfway home. The light comes on again. I'm like, "Oh, really?" Drove all the way back and lit them up and said, "Look, this is my second trip here." Even better. As I pull in, he says, "Do you have an appointment?" I said, "I had an appointment 4 hours ago. I shouldn't have to be here again. You are going to see my car. You are going to get it taken care of. And I don't care if you have to take the wheels off, rebalance them, check the pressure, put them underwater, do everything you got to do. Those are brand new damn tires. I want to know what the hell the problem is." Yep. I'm just here to watch you get drunk. Well, whatever you enjoy, as long as I keep you entertained, right? Are you not entertained? That's why bought a Subaru. Exactly. In all of the Nissans I've driven, the tire pressure sensor lights end up coming on and staying on. It's a stupid sensor thing. I just leave it. I can't do that because I did that once only to find out that there was a real tire pressure problem and it screwed up the tires and my insurance wouldn't cover it. So now I am in there every single time those air pressure lights come on. Let them take care of it. And look, I understand that the tire pressure changes when there's a big temperature change. I get that. It should be happening in the next couple months as it gets really, really cold, right? But not when I leave the dealership after buying new tires. That is unacceptable. And it happened twice. And then for them to come back and tell me, no, there wasn't a problem. We just screwed up in how we managed the tire pressure twice. And the first time being immediately after buying brand new tires. That, I said, is their error, their problem, and they need to talk to their guys about that. That's not acceptable. Absolutely not. But, yeah, there you go. Troy yells and stuff gets done. Eventually. Maybe not the first time, apparently. But, yes, welcome, Clue Studios. Definitely make sure that you're subscribed to Clue Studios. He's a very sharp guy with good things to say. And anyway, that's I hate for this to end up being such a short one. But guys, I'm looking to you. What do you guys want to talk about after that whole Roblox thing? Actually, I do have another article we can take a look at real quick. Julie hates shopping with me. Something goes wrong in the store. I go to into manager mode. She looks at me and says, "Are you going to be a jerk? Am I going to wait in the car?" Netter and I tend to be mostly, like this on this stuff. We both have it's not being a jerk and it's not being a Karen either. It's being a customer, right? I mean, and this is, Mark, this is where you and I are very, very similar. We both have come from customer service backgrounds, so we have expectations when we are the customer, right? There are no excuses. What's even worse, and Netter and I have both done this on various times, where we find ourselves going into customer service mode at stores when we don't even work there. It's like, oh, let me help you find that, just being nice, not because we have to. People mistake us for, excuse me, do you know where this such and such is? I don't, but I'd be happy to help you find it. She's like, oh, I'm going to tell the manager about you. Why? The manager doesn't know me. I don't work here. And they said they took it. Oh, this was the other thing. Netter caught this on our itemized thing. It specifically said they took it out for a test drive. So why didn't they have the issue? See, and Netter, I think, speculates exactly the same way I think. I don't think they did it. They just checked it off and said they did it. And that's a problem too. Don't give me an itemized list of what you did that says I spent over $1,000 for you to do all these things and have me find you didn't do them. Jonathan, exactly my feeling on a lot of these stores. Good luck finding help at brick and mortar stores. And this is why brick and mortar stores are going away and everyone's buying stuff on Amazon. Because when I go and I say, can you help me find, you can't find the people to help you find. But let's be honest, though. There are some stores, there are some people that still are willing to help. Netter and I just recently had an issue, not an issue, quite the opposite. We went into one of those nickel dime stores. They don't call them nickel dime stores anymore. Dollar store. It was a dollar store. And we were trying to find something, and the girl's like, we did have those. We're out. They'll be in on Tuesday, and, just You know, if they come in, I'll put some aside for you, but I won't know for sure till. And she went out of her way to help us out. I mean, people do that. There's other people that will stop and check their thing, and they'll go, I'm not finding it here. Let me go check the. They try. They at least try. You know, there are still people like that. Tell them about the time we were facing the Mego figures and they thought we were from corporate and got scared. Yeah. So this was back when we shopped at Target. We don't anymore. We don't even walk into the stores anymore. But we used to go into Target, and this was when Mego had first come back on the market. And I would go in to see if they had any action figures I didn't have, any that I wanted. And it was kind of a mess. So we would go in and we would put we'd find them like the next aisle over, and we would take them, and we were just putting them up. I was being a good brand ambassador for Mego. Brand ambassador. Again, the cultish kind of, they get the customers, to, and they had us on newsletters and things like that. So, but we had just come from work. So I'm wearing my jacket, and I can't remember if I had a tie or not. And, and someone thought that we were from corporate, and one of the Target people came over and said, "Excuse me, sir, can I help you with something?" I said, I'm just trying to straighten up here. These the toys are out of place. You really need to get somebody on. Well, we'll get someone on that right away, sir. And Netter's like, I think he thinks that we're like corporate or something. I'm like, good. I outrank corporate. I'm a customer. Just saying. COVID was the excuse to eat customer service. Yeah, but that's over with. They need to change. Change back real quick. Troy from corporate. That gives me an evil idea. Yeah, well, there you go. Yes, we looked official. That was the thing. And CK, longest running superhero RPG on Earth. Welcome, my friend. Great channel talking about his long-running superhero role-playing game you should check out. So I'm going to real quick, this we're not going to spend a lot of time on this. Just want to jump over here and hit this one. This one is also from that Park Place. I happened to see it. I thought this is another one that made me go, WTF. Adam Driver confirms Disney killed his Kylo Ren Star Wars spinoff, The Hunt for Ben Solo. What? I had seen some commentary about this online today, but I didn't pay much attention to it until it came up here. I did not miss saying hi to Andy Masterson. I absolutely said hi to Andy Masterson. But if you missed me saying hi to Andy Masterson, that's what you missed. Fans can now add another title to the long list of Star Wars projects that failed to launch. Apparently, this is one that nobody knew about for us to have even, commented on it. In an interview with the Associated Press, Adam Driver, who played Kylo Ren in the Star Wars sequels that started with The Force Awakens, said he and director Steven Soderbergh spent 2 years independently developing a Star Wars movie called The Hunt for Ben Solo before presenting it to Lucasfilm and Disney executives. It was called The Hunt for Ben Solo, and it was really cool, Driver said, but it is no more, and I can finally talk about it. When the enthusiastic star and an Academy Award-winning director are unable to sell the executives on another film in an established franchise, it leads us to ask why some stories are allowed to exist and others cast aside. Well, let's reevaluate this part of it. To sell the executives on another film in an established franchise, otherwise known as a dying to dead franchise that is involving a story that nobody is interested in, and we know that because of how well the sequel trilogy did. It almost sounds like Disney made a wise choice here for once. That's shocking. After 2019's The Rise of Skywalker, which ended with Ben Solo's redemption and death, Driver was left unsatisfied by his character's arc. Lucasfilm President Kathleen Kennedy had discussed with him the possibility of doing another Star Wars movie, and Driver was open to the idea. Just the idea of a studio head being open to exploring the idea of a spin-off story for a dead character, it tells me people just aren't paying attention here. I always said, with a great director and a great story, I'd be there in a second, he said. I loved the character and loved playing him. Driver had an idea for a movie set after the events of Rise of Skywalker, which he took to Soderbergh, with whom he made 2017's Logan Lucky? Never heard of it. Together with Soderbergh's wife, screenwriter Rebecca Blunt, they developed an outline which they presented to Kennedy, Lucasfilm Vice President Carrie Beck, and Lucasfilm Chief, a bunch of hacks. Oh, and Cowboy Hat Filoni, right. The hunt for Ben Solo's script, Driver says, was one of the coolest scripts I've ever been a part of. Loved the idea. Among the film's selling points was the reportedly conservative budget. Well, that's something it would need. We wanted to be judicial about how to spend money and be economical with it. So that's probably why they threw it out. If they can't waste money and lose money on the deal, I don't think Disney's interested. But when it was taken to Disney brass, Bob Iger and Alan Bergman, they said, no. You come to me with something that's not, $300 million to make, that will only see $180 million return on? Get the hell out of here. They didn't see how Ben Solo was alive, and that was that, Driver explained. Given that Darth Maul, Palpatine, Boba Fett, and others have seemingly come back from the dead without issue, some fans have called foul. Well, to be fair, when we last saw Darth Maul, Palpatine, and Boba Fett, they were still alive. So there's always that what happened after they were out of your eyesight, right? Ben Solo literally died in Wonder Ray's arms. Dead. We saw him die, dead. So unless he's coming back as a Force ghost, someone get on the AI and do, a mashup of Ghost with Daisy Ridley and Ben Solo here. Just saying. Oh, and again, bringing Palpatine up, somehow Palpatine survived. That was their explanation. They were willing to go with that. And look, this one we saw all the way through. We saw him injured, burned, still alive, put into a ship, still alive, brought into surgery, still alive. Just saying. I'm just saying. Oh, and no one has plot armor like she does. Just saying. Disney logic may have less to do with the realities of Ben Solo's survival and more to do with the Rise of Skywalker's astronomical $600 million recently divulged by Forbes. Yeah, that's the other thing, too. If we give Disney the maximum benefit of the doubt on this one, they would see even a paltry spend on a Kylo Ren spinoff as going against this profit margin. Unless it had some ability to earn back what they lost on Rise of Skywalker, they can't. They've already put too much into this. They weren't going to put any more into it. When worlds of story become intellectual property ecosystems, brand management often supersedes creative freedom. It necessarily has to, I would argue. Disney and Lucasfilm have a long history of promising and then identifying, indefinitely postponing Star Wars projects, including movies from acclaimed directors like Patty Jenkins, Rian Johnson, James Mangold. Why they're acclaimed, I don't know, but whatever. While those projects, including The Hunt for Ben Solo, might have made an impact on fans, Disney likely saw them as risky investments. Well, good. You know, I mean, and in other news, water is wet, you know. But I really enjoyed making the movie in my head, Sonderberg said. I'm just sorry the fans won't get to see it. If nothing else, The Hunt for Ben Solo is a bittersweet reminder of the cost of investing creatively and emotionally in big business of Hollywood. Some things just aren't meant to be. That is why I am mostly supporting independent films, like those of Robert James, of Tom Conkle, you know, just saying. And going forward, you're probably going to be seeing promotion more for their projects on my channel. Just saying. Fletcher Williams stops in. Can't stay long, but I wanted to leave a like and a comment for the algorithms. Thank you so much, Fletcher Williams. I suck at games. Definitely check out his channel. He is good people and worthy of your support. Sorry, I was taking a shower. What did I miss? Well, we missed your shower, kind of, thank goodness. Just saying. But you know what? When he talks about making the movie in his head, you know, speaking of making the movies in your head, longest running superhero RPG on Earth does exactly that. And I would encourage you that if you've never looked into role-playing games, maybe check them out. And you and some friends can get together and work out the stories that you would have made, right? You could pick up any one of like 3 different Star Wars role-playing games throughout history, many of which are available for free online if you know where to look. And you could, for example, start right after Return of the Jedi, and you could recreate the characters from The Mandalorian and the Book of Boba Fett and tell those stories right and lead up to something that looks much better than the Disney Star Wars sequels. You could make your own sequels. There are, in fact, source books out there if you wanted to run through the story of the Heir to the Empire trilogy. Just saying. You don't have to depend on Hollywood for your entertainment. And that's what I've got for you today. Ironic, most fans are glad they won't get to see it. Yeah, well, that's the unsaid thing there. I think that's only very desperate women would even want to see any of that shower. Yeah, well, I'm not going to comment on that. I'm not getting into that. But that is the show for today. Today is Wednesday, so although I won't be there, go check out Pop Culture Breakdown over on Doomcock's channel, where Andy Masterson and the folks will be hanging out. And there you go. And tomorrow night over on Netter's Network for Horror Cat Dad. And that is all for today. Tomorrow is Thankful Thursday. Going to talk about some things I'm thankful for, including all of you guys. And I want to hear what you guys are thankful for. So, my friends, you take care. Definitely do hit the like button on the way out. Share out this stream so people can catch it on the rerun. And till next time, salute. Take care.
Goodbye. Hope to see you again real soon.
So here's to the daylight, the drinks and the fun, our liquid lunch till the next one comes. With a wink and a smile, we'll be back real soon, chasing that jazz under the high